in the women's championship. And I'll tell you this, both of these teams and coaches have talked about just how excited they are to be here, how ready they are. Good look there at Jim Littell, the head coach for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. Most Big 12 wins in program history, an outstanding year, and one of the best defensive teams around the rim, of course, because they have number 4 right there, Natasha Mack. She has just been absolutely outstanding. And what a great finish for Oklahoma State, second in Big 12 play. Meanwhile, Jen Hoover, again, you talked about it, Steffi, defying expectations, doing something that hadn't been done since Jen Hoover, the head coach, was a player, making it back to the NCAA tournament. And it's a great story out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Steffi, it's been a long time coming for these teams, as we know all that has transpired in the last year and some change. No NCAA tournament last year, so these teams are happy to hit the court, ready to play. Oklahoma State in the white, Wake Forest in the black jerseys. Off the foot and out of bounds, it stays with the Cowgirls.
Well, I like the start for Wake Forest defensively, just amping up some intensity. It's been a while since both of these teams have played, so to start with pressure defense, and Wake Forest will get after you defensively. That's something that Oklahoma State definitely has to be mindful of and play with poise today in this game.
They get it into Mack. Mack showing off the moves and the first 2 points of the game. As we take a look at today's Capital One starting lineups for Wake Forest, you've got a couple of anchors with Gina Conti and Ivana Ratza, but Jules Spear, the freshman, has had an outstanding opening campaign in her Wake Forest career. And there's Ratza inside. Excuse me, Christina Mora with the bucket for the Demon Deacons as we take a look at the Capital One starting lineups. For Oklahoma State, we told you about Natasha Mack, a great compliment for her on the outside, the perimeter. Jamie Asbury, all Big 12 performer. Jump ball on the floor and already off to an energetic start, Steffi.
Well, clearly the message from Jim Littell is to get the ball inside to Natasha Mack. It's a tough matchup for Christina Mora, who's just 6'2", and going up against a player like Natasha Mack, who's 6'4", but that wingspan of 6'11". So that's going to be something we're going to watch for if they play a little bit more zone to try and contain Mack.
Ratza off the mark there. Cowgirls with the rebound, pushing the tempo in transition. And you see Lauren Fields just losing the handle, but the speed and the pace in which Oklahoma State was trying to get up the court.
Yeah, that's when they're at their best. A quarter of their offense is scored in transition. And they're going to look to push tempo in this game because that's truly when they're most effective offensively.
Conti, the senior out of Grove City, Ohio, inside to Mora. Mora finishing at the rim with the left hand.
And more impressively, over Natasha Mack.
Oklahoma State kicks it out on the perimeter. That one just short. Demon Deacons coming in with an even 500 record, but at-large bid coming out of the ACC. You mentioned Steffi. They have a tournament best 8 programs in the tournament. Cowgirls just off the mark once again. Offensive rebound, batted back out. They'll reset the offense. Mack working on a couple of defenders and gets it to go.
She just continues to be one of the best stories in women's college basketball. This is just her second year in a Oklahoma State jersey, and she continues to get better and better. I feel like her upside is just so tremendous. big reason why she's going to be a top 10 draft pick in the WNBA.
Mack strips it away there. The former JUCO All-American runs the floor, and you know that the Cowgirls like to play inside out, and when you have a player like Mack, it's easy to do so. Going along that right side, Fertali Natoa gets it to Mack, and that one pops in and out. For all in the early going of this first round game between Wake Forest and Oklahoma State. And Christina Moore is responsible for all 6 points for the Demon Deacons.
I love how they're going right at Natasha Mack. You know, they'd love to get her into some foul trouble, Tiffany, get her on the bench, but Mora just not backing down, and they're going right at Natasha Mack, and she's ready to play today. Really impressed with Mora.
Fields on the bounce pass, nice recognition, giving it up for the better shot, and dropping it down is Collins. Taylon Collins, one of the true freshmen for this program, has made a nice impact since getting Stillwater. That one blocked by Natoa. Second best team in the country in blocks per game.
Both teams trying to get the ball inside to the paint. Christina Moore, great usage of her body, a little bit spin move around Natasha Mack, and then for the Cowgirls, it's never wrong to go inside to Natasha Mack, who's very efficient from the floor, showcasing her abilities early on in this game.
That one goes in, and finally someone other than Christina Moore scoring a point. That's Ivana Ratza.
Well, she leads the team in scoring, almost 17 a game. She's had a fantastic season for Jen Hoover. And Natasha Mack, just, you knew she was going to come out ready to play today.
On a big stage for the Cowgirls, 3 of 4 from the floor. Shooting at better than 50% on the season. That one off the mark. Mack with the rebound, but it's poked away. Good defense there by Ratza. Ratza turns right around, a long two for the senior Ivana Ratza out of Serbia.
What a heady play by the senior. A little back tip, something you typically learn in your AAU days, but to knock down the three made her pay.
Stolen away. Wake Forest on the break. Jewel Spear, good look at that true freshman. Outstanding year one. She's been a quiet assassin for the Demon Deacons. Inside of 4 minutes in the first quarter, this opening round game between Wake Forest and Oklahoma State. If you're just tuning in, I'll tell you, it's been some up and down play. Natasha Mack, yeah, she's been balling, and so is Christina Mora on the steal. Here come the Cowgirls. Pulling up, free throw line jumper, no good for Asbury. Kicking it back out, Natoa. And cleaning up the glass is Natasha Mack. Mack, who came into this game 10 points shy of 1,000 career points. And you mentioned Steffi, she's only been in this program 2 years. Shot fake. Goes in and out. Offensive rebound and a whistle on the floor. It's fouled.
Back and forth here to start this game. Ivana Ratza, the senior, heady play, buries the two, and Natasha Mack all day in the paint. Rebounder came to play.
A little bit different vibe to this year's NCAA tournament, given the fact that they're all playing their games in the San Antonio area. And look, these two seniors know what's on the line. It's win or go home, and Christina Moore and Natasha Mack have stepped up so far in this opening period for their teams.
Yeah, especially impressed with Christina Mora, and the defensive assignment, more importantly, is containing Natasha Mack. But they've gone back and forth. It's been a battle in the paint. Both teams trying to go inside early in this game.
10 points in the paint for Wake Forest. 8 of the 10 coming that same variety on the other end for Oklahoma State. First trip to the big dance for the Cowgirls since 2018. Jim Littell, who has had a fantastic year with this group, who has done a marvelous job, hoping to get his team maybe as far as the Sweet 16, as this group was able to get there back in the 2013-14 season. Coming out of the timeout, and this one is knocked down by Lexi Keys. I'll tell you, the freshmen for the Cowgirls have really filled in nicely in the starting lineup and off the bench too.
Yeah, they've really complimented Natasha Mack and Jamie Asbury's. Here they are in transition. That's their bread and butter. And talking to Jim Littell about this team, he said they have the best chemistry that he's seen since he's been at Oklahoma State. Very unselfish ball club. They'll make the better pass to get the better shot. Freshmen have been a big part of that too. Big buy-in from them.
Freshman on the other side, Jules Spear, picked up her dribble over to Conti. Conti with 6 on the shot clock. Kicks it over. And the 3 is on the front iron. Final minute and a half of this first quarter. You see Natasha Mack is on the bench, so she was responsible for 8 of the 15 points for Oklahoma State.
I'd like to see Gina Conti be a little bit more aggressive. I think Wake Forest is better when she's looking for her shot. She is a pass-first point guard, but when she's aggressive, Wake Forest is better. Good unselfish play by the Deeks.
Ratza, who leads the team in scoring and rebounding, has really done a nice job of expanding her game, and that's something Jen Hoover has appreciated. Again, helping this team advance to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1988. Conti tried to take the left hand.
Well, with Natasha Mack on the bench, other players have had to step up, and Lexi Keys, the freshman, capable scorer, and then some defense, getting out in transition, easy points. As I mentioned, 25% of their offense comes in transition.
Conti is just such an important part of this program, helping to facilitate and make everything run for the Demon Deacons. Spear put that one up, may have been deflected. In the closing seconds of this first quarter, 15 all. It's been a up and down affair thus far. They try to dump it inside as Mack checks back in, and the foul goes against Wake Forest. Quick substitution for the Cowgirls, 1.1 second remain on the game clock. Got to put it up. A good defense there, poked away by Ivana Ratza. Win or go home. Hey, look, Steffi Sorensen, she's got some hot takes on this tournament. We'll take a look at her bracket when we come back.
It is going to be a competitive region. Tiffany, what do you think of my bracket breakdown?
I like it. I mean,
like
look,
it? Okay.
I did. I thought it was well themed, right?
Okay.
And given the fact that the Riverwalk has so many titles in that region, historically, it's kind of hard to go against them. So you understand why the BPI goes in favor of them at 42%. But look, one of the great stories, I think, is NC State making it to this point out of the Mercado region. #1 seed, they knocked off a couple of #1s during the regular season. You know, Stanford, a winning tradition in this region, the Alamo region. And let's not forget about South Carolina, too.
There's a lot of good teams. I mean, from top to bottom, this is going to be a very competitive NCAA tournament. I think the parity, we will see it from start to finish today. We've already seen it on the men's side. I mean, my bracket is trash. It's trash. I threw it away this morning.
Everyone's bracket is trash. Everybody has thrown it in as a bucket made for Oklahoma State by way of Dennis. Well, I'll say this. How do you think this BPI, you know, looking at who has the best chance to win a title, do you agree with this, Stephanie?
I do, because it shows the parity. I mean, it's anybody's title this year, and 9% is a little bit low for South Carolina, but they did lose Lily Grissett, who was basically a six man off the bench for them, who was a big contributor. But Maryland is a tough team. We haven't really talked about Maryland. They've got 6 players, Tiffany, that average double figures. They score 90. So they are a tough team, and so is Baylor. I mean, like I said, it's going to be very competitive in this NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, lest we not forget Oklahoma State's Big 12 foe, you know, and Baylor, given the fact that they were the last to cut down the nets back in 2019 in that great championship game over Notre Dame. Notre Dame in this tournament this year, there's just so much to talk about, and I love the fact that while historically it says one thing, the top 3 seeds have all won championships, you know, you could very well see a 4 seed or higher potentially win it all. The officials are just trying to make sure the time is accurate on the game clock and shot clock. Denise Cantor, Cameron Inouye, and Nikisha Thompson are our officials for today. Alexandria Scruggs set to inbound it for Wake Forest. 5 to go on the shot clock. Got to get up something. Conti pulls up. This Oklahoma State team we mentioned finished 3rd in the Big 12 as they were picked to finish 8th in the coaches poll. Started off Big 12 play outstanding, 5-0 record, and there is a bucket by Natoa, Nefertali Natoa, the freshman out of Australia. Cowgirls out to their largest lead of the game so far. And Moore whistled for the travel. We'll tune in to ESPN and the ESPN app Thursday at 7 Eastern when NC State takes on Colorado State in the first game of the NIT quarterfinals doubleheader, and visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Wake has kind of been going back and forth between zone and between man. On the previous possession, they were in a 2-3 zone, and Oklahoma State able to get it inside the paint, dribble penetration. So going back to man, but Natasha Mack, that's the problem when you go man. You just don't have the size, per se, to match up with Natasha Mack. So Oklahoma State doing a really good job of just executing in their half court.
All-American helping the Cowgirls get out to a 9-0 run. Right now, Demon Deacons need to find an answer in the corner. That's Spear, and Jules Spear, all-ACC freshman team, she knocks down the shot. She comes in averaging just about 11 points a game and shooting a great clip from outside. Mack with the O-board. Reverse layup won't go for Fields. let's go back. This is exactly what Wake Forest needed, Steffi, to get back in this.
Well, she just runs the baseline. That's the best place to run against a zone as a shooter. She just catches and shoots. She's a three-point shooter. She shoots 40% from behind the arc, had a terrific ACC tournament, and she's from Texas. It's a homecoming game for her. She's glad to be there.
And she has certainly helped to open up the offense for the two seniors, Ratza and Conti. Kaylin Collins, first-year player out of Oklahoma State. This is the first of two. Big 12 honors as well for Collins, who typically draws the tougher defensive assignment. Your best guard, she's on you. Moore show and go, and that one was deflected by Mack.
They get the ball inside to Christina Moore, and she's going to try a couple different moves, but this is where Natasha Mack showcases her ability to block shots. Terrific timing. And look, shot blocking is an interesting thing. It's not like we drill it in practice, right? You have rebounding drills, shooting drills. When's the last time you did a block shot drill? That's where she really shines, because it's you either have it or you don't, and she's got it.
Well, you mentioned that 6'11" wingspan certainly helps. You got to also have that timing down as well, but she's also been a great contributor on the offensive end here today, registering 10 points already in the ball game. And what a take! Nice drive from Natoa, who's been a nice spark off the bench, but she got the start here today. Already with 7 points.
Yeah, she started the last 5 games. She's been really impressive.
We saw Wake Forest with about 4 steals in that first half, but let's go back to Natasha Mack. We can't stop talking about her just because of what she does on the court.
Check the physicality of this screen here, Tiff. I mean, she buries the Wake Forest defender, and she holds her ground. I mean, that's when your post players getting out there and setting screens, you always got to thank your post players for setting screens, because they get you open. But that's how much of an impact Natasha Mack has had on this game.
Inside, just checking in, is Cassidy DeLapp. And DeLapp giving Oklahoma State a 10-point lead. Well, Natasha Mack has spent so much, but her journey to get back on the court, oh man, you want to hear it when we come back. Everybody's got a story, and when you hear Natasha Mack, you will just sit back in awe. Graduated high school coming out of Lufkin, Texas. Went on to Angelina College, where she was a national JUCO All-American, makes her trek to Oklahoma State to become a dominant force in Division I basketball. The impact that she has made, and then when you think about, too, how she is now projected in the top 5 of the WNBA draft, she has just been a phenomenal addition to this Cowgirls program, on everybody's watch list, and you've seen already just what she's been able to do here today. A sample size, 10 points, 4 rebounds to go along with the block as well.
I mean, this is a player that, as I mentioned, impacts both ends of the floor. Look at this wingspan. She's 6'4", but that 6'11" wingspan has produced so many blocks throughout her career. And she didn't go just to JUCO. She took a year off when she graduated high school. She was working in a chicken processing plant, Tiffany. And we're talking about the potential to be a top 5 WNBA draft pick. That is an amazing story. It's a hidden story. I don't think a lot of people even knew that. And to watch her game, and she just plays so tough, so physical, but she's so humble about all of her success, always defers to her teammates. And check this out. This is what she was doing in her offseason, lifting logs. This blows me away. This is the dedication we're talking about You got to do what you got to do to get stronger. I'm in. Tiff, you and I, let's get out there with some logs. No?
Well, yeah, no, whatever it
Yeah,
takes.
you
I
down?
like it because it was like a la Rocky training, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, she gets out there, and the toughness shows, right? Because when you talk with her coach, Jim Littell, he always made sure to mention the humble part, right? But also that work ethic and just how well respected she is amongst her teammates just because of the time that she puts in, the dedication, and it's paid off in a major way. Big shot from the outside. And Jamie Asbury continuing. She also is one of those great stories, one of the best three-point shooters in the country, but she made some alterations to her shot as Mora coming back the other way.
Yeah, Jamie Asbury, 21 and white, changed her shot a little bit in the offseason. She was working with her shooting coach, and Jim Littell just had to have trust in his player, and her shooting percentages are up. And it's not often a player really changes something that late in their career and has success from it. But she certainly has, and is having a great year as Gina Conti finally getting on the board, and a much needed bucket for Wake Forest because this team goes as the senior goes.
Absolutely, shooting 41% from three-point land, and Conti has had some really nice outings in her senior season. Mack trying to weave her way through, gets her own rebound, the putback and one.
Mack, a player who averages 12 rebounds in a game, making her presence felt here in this first half, will not be denied. During the pandemic, we were all looking for bands to work out at home. She was looking for logs. That's the difference.
Well, right now, Wake Forest has to find a way to try to slow down Natasha Mack. A dozen points already here today, adding to it right there, 13.
Well, rebounding was certainly a concern for Jen Hoover, and we've seen it from the Cowgirls. I mean, they've just attacked the offensive glass. They've gotten rebounds. They've made the most of it. So it's just a matter of if Wake Forest is in that zone, they have got to do a better job of finding bodies instead of space and get the defensive rebound.
And again, Mack is active on both ends of the floor. The block, and they try to reward her on the other end, and she capitalizes. Natasha Mack is a one-woman wrecking crew right now.
15 points so far in this first half, but the way that she has done it on both ends of the floor. Anybody was trying to check her about her just being a defensive player, putting on a show today.
Well, coming up on the AT&T 5G halftime report, we'll take you to the studio. Maria Taylor and Andy Lanners will break down all the first half stats and analysis going on. Day one storylines covering the NCAA Women's Championship action. Conti letting it fly again for three, just bouncing off the rim, but the putback and nice second chance opportunity. Scruggs was able to get it to go down.
Now they're sending a little bit of help and good defensive possession by Wake Forest. Can't turn it over here.
Chance to cut the lead to single digits, working her way in the lane. Conti off the mark. Mack with her 6th rebound of the game. Demon Deacons taking their time. Mora, who has had herself a nice first half, 11 points, 5 of 7 from the floor. That's number 23 in black. They go to Mora again. Cowgirls add to that lead. Jamie Asbury, one of the best three-point shooters in the country, and that brings the lead to 42-29. We've reached halftime. Now let's send you to the AT&T 5G halftime report.
Big reason why they have this lead.
She helped to fill out that stat sheet to go along with those 15 points and a couple of blocks, 3 assists, 8 rebounds. So Natasha Mack already having herself a great ball game in just 1/2 of play. Her team has the lead coming into the third quarter. Meanwhile, for the Demon Deacons, who we mentioned making their second ever tournament appearance, this is a group who can turn it around. You know, this is something that Jen Hoover talked about her team preparing for the postseason. Scheduling tough, they've been resilient, they've been confident, and they have another half to go to try to advance.
That's special, Tiffany, one thing that's really special about Wake Forest and why they're here is that they just have this ability to not get rattled. And I think that comes from Jen Hoover. And so no lead really shakes them. They will fight back. They'll be gritty. They'll be tough. I think that they definitely have to be tougher on the glass. Right now, Oklahoma State doing a much better job of, both offensively and defensively. I think that's something that they can work on here to start this third quarter, is just be more tough. Block out Natasha Mack. Make it tough on her. Be physical. Push her out of the lane.
And they'll have to rely on seniors Gina Conti and Ivana Ratza to help them. But it's been Christina Mora who was the story through the first 2 quarters. She scored 6 of the team's first points. She leads the way with 11. And when you look at the junior and just what she's done in her career, each year she's gotten better and better, now averaging about 10 points a game. Here's Natoa for 3, off the mark, rebound by the Demon Deacons.
I think we'll see Gina Conti and Ratza get going here in this third quarter. Their offense really does rely on those 2 seniors to lead the way. And they were kind of quiet. I mean, we talked about Christina Mora to start that first quarter. They went right at her, but especially Gina Conti.
Mora working against Mack, and Mack banks it off the backboard. Natasha Mack continuing to just dominate, and that's what she's done since coming to the D1 level. We mentioned she transferred from Angelina College, and she has made her presence felt at Oklahoma State. Cowgirls making their 16th NCAA tournament appearance. Coming out of the same conference with the defending national champion Baylor Bears. Lady Bears, excuse me. Flip to Ratza. Ratza knocks it down. She eyed that 3 all the way, and that's the energy ball that needs to get going for the Demon Deacons.
And it starts with Gina Conti, who gets into the paint, dishes it out to Ratza for the 3. Great setup from senior to senior.
Just too tough to defend. Natasha Mack is absolutely having her way in this ball game.
What's been even more impressive is, Wake Forest is trying to push her further away from the block, but her ability to make mid-range jumpers in this game has been terrific.
Spear slides over for 3, can't make it. Asbury back the other way, and she's fouled. Well, the road to the Frozen Four ice is up tonight at 7 Eastern with the NCAA men's ice hockey selection special on ESPNU and the ESPN app. Visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Just a reminder to our viewers, this is win or go home. This stage of the season, everyone fights to get here, and it's survive and advance. The winner of this game will go on to play either the #1 overall seed Stanford or Utah Valley. Just another quick reminder to you in this Alamo region who's in the bracket with this team. Of course, we mentioned the Cardinal, the #1 overall seed. Also #4, the 4 seed, Arkansas, making things interesting as well. Again, these two will face off. The winner of these two games will face off in second round action come Tuesday.
Looking forward to watching Stanford. I mean, they've just been such a well-oiled machine all season long, and the job that Tara Vanderveer did with all the COVID restrictions within their county and moving their season outside of where they're accustomed to playing, just the adversity and their ability to overcome it in a tough Pac-12 league this year. So many good stories, Tiffany, in women's college basketball this season.
Well, yeah, they had a 9-week road trip due to the Santa Clara County COVID-19 guidelines, which you're referring to, Steffi. They played 21 games away from home. That's the most in Division I, and they won 19 of them.
And they just have terrific balance. They play great defense, and obviously they're well coached, and I think that their ability to win in a multitude of ways, whether it's a low-scoring game, a high-scoring game, I mean, they have talent. If you haven't seen Cameron Brink play yet, she's exciting. Very, very interesting, very tall, 6'4", 6'5", guard that can score it anywhere.
And I really like Kiana Williams as well. He helps to steady the ship for the Cardinal. Meanwhile, Natasha Mack helping to kind of keep that one alive, and then Fields tried to put it up, and she's fouled. Lauren Fields, the sophomore, Oklahoma product, who's had a good season thus far playing unselfish ball. Well, the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues today with second round games on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV, or stream games on the March Madness Live app from anywhere. For more information on game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. The good news is if you filled out a men's bracket, you've probably thrown it out the window, but the women's tournament starting today, so I mean, this one, you got a clean slate. You got another chance, another try at seeing if you can pick the team that makes it all the way to April 4th.
I'm out on the other one. Wow.
Well, this has been fun because we saw Christina Moore and Natasha Mack going back and forth in the paint in that first half, and now you talked about how the Demon Deacons trying to push Natasha Mack out a little bit further, but she's showing off the mid-range game as well.
Almost 50% of Natasha Mack's offense is in a post-up, and so some may say she's not as physical or big, but look at I mean, she's clearly on a mission today, and she has a huge stage to showcase her abilities. And I'm just really impressed, not just defensively, but offensively, what she's been able to do.
Mack already racked up a double-double here, 21 points, 10 boards for the senior out of Lufkin, Texas. Here's Conti, who's now moved up to second all-time in career assists at Wake Forest. Trying to make another helper right there, and she does. Knocking down the shot is Jules Spear one more time as they get the ball right back.
I talked about not being rattled, and we're seeing Wake Forest try to fight back, but Oklahoma State answers.
Lexi Keys, who's made an immediate impact, all Big 12 freshman team, answers with a three of her own. They get it into Mora. Mora, who kicks it out. The three, and once again, back-to-back threes from Wake Forest. This time it's Sumiel, Olivia Sumiel, who has a lot to offer for this program, and the staff has talked about looking forward to her developing more and more. Good ball movement. Asbury, and right now it's just raining threes. Seems like players are just kind of taking this mindset of anything you could do, I could do it better, or just as good.
Well, it's raining threes right now in this game. Both teams catching fire offensively. I think Wake Forest has to get some stops. They can't score with the Cowgirls. They need stops. Here comes the defensive pressure.
Nearly got away. Instead, DeLapp from Mac. Cassidy DeLapp with her 4th point of the ball game. The Demon Deacons, as you mentioned, Steffi, averaging just about 67 points a game compared to 71 for the Cowgirls. Pull-up jumper in transition, no good from Asbury. Wake Forest team who returned 4 starters from last year, added 6 newcomers. And Moore is one of those who comes back from a season ago. They needed her to be a factor today, and she has certainly stepped up to the challenge.
She's been a really nice complement player to Ivana Ratza all season long, but she's been aggressive at Tasha Mack. How tough is she to guard? I mean, they've pushed her 10 feet, 12 feet, and her ability to hit the mid-range today has been superb.
This is what they play for, a chance to survive and advance. 59-45, Oklahoma State. Coming your way at 3 Eastern, the NCAA Women's Championship first round continues right here on ESPN2 with Florida Gulf Coast and Michigan. The Eagles making their 6th appearance in the last 7 NCAA tournaments. And more importantly, they're carrying the longest active win streak with 25 straight. But whoo, you want to see 2 of the best scorers in the country, Steffi, and you've got it next game.
Well, the thing that makes that game intriguing is Kirsten Bell, who's been balling out for Carl Semesco at FGCU. She started her career at Ohio State, so she's got some familiarity with the Big Ten, and that's a great matchup. And it'll be intriguing with FGCU is always a contender. Love to shoot the three. They're the leading three-point shooting team in the country. So a little inside, a little outside. Another great game on tap.
And I like it because with Michigan, you have Naz Hillman, who's the 4th leading scorer in all of Division I. And when you take a look at that bracket, that's the Riverwalk region you talked about, the Champions Alley. Virginia Tech will advance to either play Baylor or Jackson State, and then the winner of FGCU and Michigan will face off either against Tennessee or Middle Tennessee State. Look, I mean, all of these games, like, it's just like no round off, right? At this point, you are going to be tested each time, but this is what you prepare for, right? This is why you have a preseason, even though some teams didn't get the full advantage of a preseason. You go through conference play, become battle tested and ready for the stage, and the chance to be able to pull off an upset. No better time than this time of year. That's why we call it March Madness. As we step aside quickly, Oklahoma State spins it, but they have a big lead here in San Antonio.
Back in San Antonio, where Oklahoma State has been shooting the 3-ball and letting it rain. 8 threes on the day. How about 16 assists, Tiffany? They're playing unselfish basketball. This team only averages 5 a game. They've already got 8, but in large part because they have gotten right into the paint, kicked it out to their shooters. Hasn't just been Jamie Asbury, it's also been Lexi Keys, but totally unselfish play for the Cowgirls today.
And then you see, too, the matchup in the paint with Mack and Mora for Wake Forest. Mora closing in on a career high. She's already got 18 points today, and she has really helped to carry this Wake Forest team. They've got to try to work their way back into this one. If they can knock down some threes from the outside as well. Off the miss, here come the Demon Deacons. Good inside post, and there's Mack, the nation's leading shot blocker. She says, no thank you, ma'am. Good movement, finding the open player. Natoa on the drive, leaves the floater, and bounces in.
Been such a nice blend of experienced players, upperclassmen, and then the freshmen. Natoa, Collins, Keys.
Conti drilling it. The senior leadership on the other side for Wake Forest. And if the Demon Deacons are going to continue to trim away at this 14-point lead, they've got to find some magic, and perhaps from the three-point line, like Conti just showed.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Back here in the Lone Star State, we're in San Antonio, home of the Alamo. And folks, the Alamo region features Oklahoma State and Wake Forest. Natasha Mack has been absolutely outstanding. The winner of this ball game will go on to face either Utah Valley or the #1 overall seed Stanford. That's coming your way Tuesday. Of course, you can catch all of the games on our ESPN family of networks. And I'll say this, Steffi, the fact that these players are getting an opportunity to play in a tournament when they did not have that opportunity a season ago, it's a great feeling. And when we talk to the coaches, you know, they mentioned just how cool it is to kind of be all in one place.
Yeah.
But the experience is a little bit more unique this time around as a big 3-ball goes down for Wake Forest. Compliments of Jules Spear. And Spear, this is her first time getting there, right, to the NCAA tournament. And she's seen her team play some good defense here. Conti with the pump fake misses the bunny. Spear is rejected, but coming up with the ball is Sumiel.
That's an empty possession for Wake Forest. I mean, he had multiple opportunities. You're trying to claw your way back into the game.
Great
It's got
pass
to be with their
inside.
defense.
Yep.
It's got to be, Tiff, with their defense. When they apply that full court pressure or just try to get Oklahoma State out of sync offensively and then converting, though. They've got to convert off turnovers or even just pushing the ball in transition.
Conti lining up for 3. Good look at the basket there for Conti. Won't fall. Have to stop Oklahoma State in transition. Oklahoma State has been doing a great job just sharing the basketball.
Yeah, 17 assists in today's game. And when we talked to Jim Littell and him commenting on this team and the fact that this is the best chemistry, it's shown on the floor with the fact that they are unselfish. They don't care who scores. They want to win.
Nice turnaround jumper from 15 feet for Ivana Ratza. Ratza now with 11 points. Jim Littell, the Big 12 Coach of the Year, sees his team with the lead, but you can't get too comfortable because no lead is safe. Wake Forest has found a way to fight back throughout the season.
In large part, Tiffany, because Jen Hoover is really big on next play, her positivity. How about that play for the Cowgirls in transition? Lauren Fields contributing. Look, you don't stop ball. She's going all the way. I love the emotion from the players out there on the floor today. And just, you know, Tiffany, yesterday with the men's NCAA tournament and the VCU team that didn't get to take the floor because of, you saw just how fragile it is to compete and just how thankful it is teams and players are to take the floor and have this opportunity. And that's why we see so much emotion out there. It's like an extra added emotion to be there.
Well, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, I mean, 713 days.
Yeah, remarkable.
The last NCAA tournament game, and the fact that, you know, these players are on the floor, it means so much. And you just heard it throughout our Zoom calls through the week with the coaches about just how about thankful and blessed and excited they were to get out and compete. And then not only that, you're talking about competing on this big stage, right? Well, for Wake Forest, it means so much more given the fact that this is like their second ever tournament appearance in a time where Jen Hoover has been responsible or a part of both of those tournament appearances. Back in 1988, she was a player who hit the game-winning shot against Villanova in that first round.
Well, she was clutch for the Demon Deacons, and you better believe those players know about that history and just how big of an impact that Jen Hoover has had on Wake Forest as a player and now as a coach. She took this job because she wanted to get back to the NCAA tournament, and the senior class especially believed in that, believed in Jen Hoover, and they've done that. Obviously, they need some of that heroics that Jen Hoover's got up her sleeve on the floor today.
Yeah, she did it as a freshman, Steffi. I mean, come on. She went on to be a three-time All-ACC performer. Now the program's all-time wins leader, and specifically being able to do it with her alma mater. She said it makes it that much more special to make it to this point. And you just appreciate hearing the coaches talk about just the relationships and bonds that they have created with this team. You know, she says her group, this team specifically is make the bad days good and the good days better. Her group trailing by 14 have to continue to pick away at this lead. Nice move and finish from Taylon Collins. Taylon Collins, who again has come to Stillwater and become a force in that starting lineup.
I think the big reason why Oklahoma State, obviously Natasha Mack has been fantastic today, Tiffany, but in their 8 games that they've lost, it's really just been Asbury and Mack. And today they've got balance, and here they are in transition. They're bread and butter for 2.
But it all started with the block on the other end from Natasha Mack, the nation's leading shot blocker. She's a rim protector. She's done it all here today. OSU on a 7-0 run, up big. Welcome back. Well, let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance.
Natasha Mack, 23 points, 14 rebounds, has been dominant from the start of this game, putting her imprint on the offensive side of the floor, the defensive side of the floor, even dishing it out to her teammates. One of her 4 blocked shots there, leading to an easy bucket for the Cowgirls. doing everything. As I mentioned, that 6'11" wingspan is just so special. She's only 6'4". Usually see a couple inches, right?
Yeah.
But making it count today.
18 double-doubles. Third best in Division I basketball in transition, where they like to do it most. And there's Jamie Asbury right in for the layup. She's had a nice ball game here this afternoon as well. 16 points for the junior out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Conti lines it up for three, well short.
Yeah, Jamie Asbury, she leads this team along the perimeter. She can hit the mid-range, but obviously when you have Natasha Mack and the way that she's been able to score on the inside, that 1-2 punch has worked really well for Jim Littell. But when they have balance is when they've really seen success this season. And today has been a good display of that balance.
Elbow jumper is true for Ratza. Ratza, who took this summer to train with the Serbian national team, now has 13 points for the Demon Deacons. You talked about just Jamie Asbury and what she's done, altered that shot, but she's also found ways to get the ball to Natasha Mack, as that has been the thought process all game long. And 25 points later, Oklahoma State is working their game plan to perfection right now.
All I'm saying is the logs work. The logs work.
Yeah. Well, coming up at 4 Eastern, the NCAA Women's Championship first round continues on ABC with Jackson State and second seed Baylor. All games are available on the ESPN app. Perhaps you should take note of that, Steffi, and put that in your workout regimen or routine. I mean, I know you go hard. You know, you had leg day earlier this week we were talking about. But nothing works the legs better than a log.
Something I did not anticipate talking about coming into this game. But
just thank you, Natasha Mack, because this is the work that she was putting in.
Yes. Yeah. This off season. Forget the barbell, a kettlebell, bands. She had logs. That's why she's got some hops.
You use what you got. You use what you got. That's important. Resourceful. Okay? Thank the land. Thank the land.
I wanted to see her hand it off the little man in the back and see him if he could lunge. He probably.
No, he was just a hype man, in the back. Like, come on,
you need those.
Do it.
You need those. See, I'm your hype man.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. Let's go! Just over 3 minutes to go in this first round game from the Alamo region. Winner of this one will go on to face either Utah Valley or Stanford. The steal for Wake Forest. They've got to convert and put up some points here. Ratza, who extended that arm, called for the offensive foul. Steffi, you were a shooter at the University of Florida, and obviously you know what it's like to work on the shot, but this is something that Jamie Asbury decided to do. She decided to make some tweaks and modifications to it, and it's worked. You see the numbers and how much of a jump she made from last year to this year.
Yeah, when you're shooting 24%, you'd think, let's just get some shots, some game shots, work on maybe your strength, your upper body, and explosiveness, but very rarely will a shooter go in and tweak something as a junior. With my shot, I had a weird shot, Tiffany, but most coaches would say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But she clearly went in and had a few things that she had in mind that she wanted to change. And I asked Jim Littell, I said, were you a little bit worried about that? He said, I just had to trust her. And it has paid off because her ability to knock down the three, without hesitation, her scoring has been phenomenal this season.
ESPN and the ESPN app is home for all of your NCAA Women's Championship action. The Final Four tips off on April 2nd, and the championship will be played on Sunday, April 4th at 6 Eastern on ESPN. Boy, an exciting couple of weeks coming your way. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, Steffi, right now, but just know that I really want to ask you who you got going all the way. Who do you think are the Final Four teams? Let me do that.
Ooh, that's it.
You don't want to get in trouble there.
I should ask you that too.
Ooh,
I mean,
okay.
It's really tough. I do think that two teams that we haven't necessarily discussed, because everybody always talks about the 1 seeds for women's basketball, because typically chalk goes. But Baylor and Maryland, and even Texas A&M, are teams that I'm definitely have my eye on, because you look at a UConn-Baylor potential matchup that didn't happen in the regular season, that could be trouble for UConn.
Yeah, you think about the Aggies in their home state. They're celebrating their 10-year anniversary of their first and only championship, and this is an emotional time as Gina Conti and Ivana Ratza take the bench. And these are 2 of the 3 seniors on this team that have just meant so much to this program. The blood, sweat, and tears, just the effort and energy that they have put into this program and helping their school get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 33 years. Applause necessary.
It's a top 10 draft pick right there. You can just throw it right up to her, and her ability to bounce off the floor with efficiency is just special.
Well, she has just shown exactly why she is projected to go as the 5th overall pick in the latest ESPN mock draft. She's graded out really well by so many, including our very own analyst Rebecca Lobo, just about what Natasha Mack can do in a full substitution. She finishes the ball game with 27 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists along with 4 blocks. Wow, what a ball game for Natasha Mack. Full substitutions in, reverse layup good. Brittany Reeves and Natasha Mack is loving it.
Jim Littell going into his bench, but the reaction from the bench is everything. Natasha Mack. We talked about her humble attitude and her servant mindset, and I love the bench reaction. That was terrific to watch.
Back the other way and nearly going in for Leah McWhorter. Well, you credit this Demon Deacons team for making it to this point. We can't hammer home enough just what it means for this program and what they've done, making just their 2nd ever NCAA tournament appearances. They were picked to finish 12th in the preseason, finished 9th.
Tiffany, I was talking to LaChina Robinson, a very proud Wake Forest alum, and she said it's just been really, really special to watch this team, who she felt was always 1 or 2 players away, but this year they just believed and had the right chemistry to get there, and they did it. Just not enough today.
A convincing opening round win for Oklahoma State, 84-61, and it's their first tournament win since 2018. And thanks to Natasha Mack for an outstanding performance. She gives her ball coach a hug, and wow, what an effort she and the Cowgirls put in today. It was Matt plus Jamie Asbury. They did a bulk of the scoring here today and most of the season for the Cowgirls.